Really good, as usual, column from Tommy Martin in the Examiner this morning. He's talking about has Andy Farrell's Fun Factory set Ireland free, giving out about the Mexican wave correctly, saying that there wasn't. A funny thing happened on Ireland's way to victory over Wales around the hour mark with the benches emptying in the game. If not quite dead, then certainly flopping about on the riverbank. A Mexican wave started. And not just any Mexican wave. This one was long and disturbingly persistent. A Mexican wave is fun in the way a conga line at a wedding is fun, by which I mean oppressive and judgmental, like a Stalinist show trial. There's loads of other good stuff as well. That's not to say the successes under Schmidt were not enjoyable for players and fans alike, but they felt more like frightening displays of martial power with all the joie de vivre of a Roman legion crushing a provincial revolt. Yeah, it's true. It is true. Like, I know Ronan O'Gara was saying earlier on that that's how people feel after they've won 8 or 9 games. They start reading a lot into it. But we won 8 or 9 games in a row under Schmidt, and like, if you do remember accurately, a lot of people were bored. They were giving out about it being boring. I was like, oh no, you know, the winning culture is going to evolve and it'll get better. And it never got better. It was like, we have a style of play. We will crush you. I must break you. We were even Drago, and then we got caught by the Rockies.
I disagree about the boring point. I think that 2018, I don't think many people are bored by winning a Grand Slam. I don't think even if you go back a further year, people are bored by winning a tour in Australia. I certainly don't think people are bored by beating the All Blacks at the end of 2018.
Well, the New Zealand game in Chicago was very different. It felt like we were attacking in waves in a way that we hadn't seen before, and we thought it felt a little bit like Ireland at the Euros under Martin O'Neill. It's like, oh, this is how we're going to play from now on. But then we went back to, we're going to have the best set piece in the world, we're going to have the best ruck in the world, we're going to have the best box kicking game in the world, and we're going to beat you 16-9. But after a while, it was unsustainable.
I think
everybody worked it out.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But I think the most boring aspect was the predictability of getting smashed by England in the build-up to the 2019 World Cup, or the predictability of getting beaten by New Zealand in that World Cup. Granted, the Japan defeat was a bit unexpected. That wasn't exactly boring. The defeat to England at the start of 2019 was the first game of the Six Nations, so a lot of people didn't actually, least of all us, actually saw that result coming. So that was unexpected. But after a period of time, it became expected that Ireland were not in a good place, and that was the most boring part. Being a sports fan is very exciting if your team is winning. It can be quite boring and quite dreary if your team is losing all the time. And for me, that was the greatest difference in the excitement levels between the two periods in the Schmidt era.
What was the difference?
One era was full of winning and one era was full of losing.
Okay, so you're never mind the quality, feel the results.
I definitely feel that was the biggest part. Of course, when you look back at it in the cold light of day.
But there were lots of people giving out about style at that stage,
yeah.
Right? It's true that there were other people apart from you who, like, you know, you've been raised on a diet of victory, right?
True.
So there were dissenting voices. There doesn't seem to be everybody saying, "Oh, this is terrible. I can't believe we're like throwing the ball around like it's cheap." It's like, no, it's okay. Let's do this.
Yeah, that is like, does seem that everybody's on board. Yeah,
I do think that there's a world in which Mac Hansen or somebody else throws a horrific intercept try and we get beaten because of it at the weekend, and everyone's like, "Oh, you can't be doing this. I want to go back to the Conservative game." That's like how this is going to play out, right?
It might do. I think that.
You're doing throwing that pass. It's like you've just thrown.
Who's that person going to be?
Well, the
collective,
the Greek chorus.
Yeah. I think that there's been a good degree of forgiveness for Sexton throwing that ball away in the first half of the weekend, but throwing an intercept try would be an entirely different matter, especially if it ends up in a defeat. Well,
say Mac Hansen gets skinned for a couple of defensive things because he's the last person back there, and that's like he's going to be left one-on-one with some of the best, fastest players in the world. I definitely think that we're going to rush to scapegoats. And there'll be a bit of a backlash because it's like, oh, you won't win a World Cup playing like that now. Look, we've lost this game, as opposed to, we need to get this right and keep going.
We are early in a cycle, and there are still kinks to be ironed out.
Exactly.